Mercogliano.
Good morning, Chairman Sullivan, Ranking Member Cantwell, Ranking Member Blunt-Rochester, and members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to testify on a subject that has defined my professional and academic career. I'm a professor at Campbell University in Buies Creek, North Carolina. I'm a graduate of the New York Maritime Academy, a former deck officer in the U.S. Merchant Marine, working both afloat and ashore for the U.S. Navy's Military Sealift Command. After swallowing the anchor, I earned an MA in Maritime History and Nautical Archaeology from East Carolina University and a PhD from the University of Alabama, where my dissertation examined the role of American shipping in national defense. I also serve as an adjunct professor at the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy, teaching a graduate-level course in maritime industry policy, and in 2021, I launched the YouTube channel, What's Going On with Shipping. As an active participant and observer of the U.S. maritime industry, I have witnessed its long decline. The SHIPS Act is the most significant maritime reform effort since the Merchant Marine Act of 1970. Along with measures such as the U.S. Trade Representative Section 301 port fees and President Trump's executive order on shipbuilding, this legislation represents a critical step toward transforming the United States from a purely naval power into a true maritime power with a revitalized commercial sector. Twice in the 20th century, America launched major shipbuilding efforts. The first, led by Edward Hurley during and after World War I, produced a large fleet and inspired the Merchant Marine Act of 1920, better known as the Jones Act, which laid the foundation for the first national maritime strategy. The second effort came with the Merchant Marine Act of 1936, which introduced operating and construction differential subsidies for vessels in the international trade and funded the building of 500 ships over 10 years. This effort created the industrial base necessary for the Two-Ocean Navy Act and enabled the United States to transport the arsenal of democracy from the home front to the battlefront. The SHIPS Act and related measures represent a long overdue Merchant Marine Act of 2025. While ambitious, especially the goal of building 250 ships in 10 years, it is essential if we hope to rebuild our maritime capacity. However, achieving these goals require rebuilding the supporting infrastructure. A key step is facilitating the reflagging of vessels, as seen with the container ship CMA CGM Phoenix and the LNG tanker American Progress, and promoting the benefits of American registry. This should include a careful re-examination of the Jones Act, not to repeal it, but to modernize its application. Reflagging ships will require several complementary actions. First, the Maritime Security Program and Tanker Security Program should be expanded to offset higher U.S. operating costs. Second, consistent cargo flows must be secured through cargo preference laws, government contracts, or incentives for private shippers. For example, offering tax rebates to companies that ship goods on U.S. flagged vessels or reducing tariffs on goods transported aboard American ships would help level the playing field. These policies would also benefit island and non-contiguous states and territories that rely heavily on Jones Act shipping. Third, the benefits of U.S. registry vice open registries, such as Panama, Liberia, and the Marshall Islands, should be more pronounced with protection afforded by the U.S. Navy against threats like the Houthis and providing of war risk insurance to mitigate the cost to operate in contested regions. While large blue water vessels take years to construct, a near-term opportunity lies in modernizing the domestic fleet of tugboats, towboats, and ferries. Much of this fleet is outdated and aging, posing both economic and security risks to the nation. Insufficient tug capacity, for instance, contributed to the Dolly incident in Baltimore. A national program to replace and modernize these vessels could provide an immediate boost to domestic shipyards and workforce development while enhancing port safety and resilience. Equally important is investment in advanced maritime technologies that could once again place the U.S. at the forefront of innovation. The Shipping Act of 1916 spurred adoption of oil-fired boilers, freeing U.S. ships from dependence on coaling stations and challenging British dominance. During World War II, prefabrication techniques revolutionized shipbuilding and made mass production possible. Today, the U.S. has an opportunity to lead again, this time through technology, perhaps such as small modular nuclear reactors for maritime propulsion. Finally, I strongly urge passage of the SHIPS Act to establish a maritime security advisor to lead this effort and a maritime trust fund for financing, expanding the investment tax credit, Title 11 loan guarantees, and shipbuilding finance incentives would redirect American capital from foreign shipbuilding toward domestic production. In addition, the proposed centers for maritime innovation could support research, workforce training, and policy enhancement. Finally, reviving the U.S. maritime industry is not merely an economic or industrial challenge, it is a matter of national security and global competitiveness. The SHIPS Act provides the vision and framework needed to rebuild our shipbuilding base, reestablish a robust merchant marine, and ensure that the United States remains a maritime nation capable of sustaining its global role. Thank you for the opportunity to discuss this issue. I look forward to your questions.
Thank you. Final witness, Ms. Snow.
Thank you.